Shakespeare, Hemingway, C.S. Lewis, and soon you too will be considered among the greatest authors of all time. And so you sit down, focused and prepared to write.
I just got started. Hello, this is Kevin.
Hi, honey. It's Mom.
Hey.
How are you?
Doing good. I'm just sitting down to write that epic novel I've been talking about for a decade.
So you know how to do a Facebook?
What do you mean do a Facebook? Do you mean to log into your Facebook?
No, is that what they call it?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Where you can see what you're doing?
You mean you want to make a post?
When people see your pictures?
Right, you're talking about how to make a post on Facebook.
Yeah, I'm talking about Facebook. Can you copy Facebook into my new computer?
Look, I love you, but you don't put Facebook into your computer, and I'm trying to write a book. I'm just trying to get it done.
What do you mean?
I mean, I'm trying to write a book, and I keep being interrupted. And you're calling me for tech support on Facebook, and then every time somebody posts something from my office, you go on there and like it, and I just keep getting notifications.
I do. But I want a new one for my birdhouse business.
I'll have a guy from the office come by and help you, and then you can set it up.
I have done that. I log in, I put in all the information, I put in all the pictures, and then the next time I go back, it's all gone, and I have to do it all over again.
Let me ask you, every time you go to Facebook, do you log on or do you make a new account?
Yes! Wait. What's the difference?
Some shows don't need a celebrity narrator to introduce the show, but this show does. 2 men, 8 kids, co-created by 2 different women, 13 multi-million-dollar businesses. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Thrive Time Show.
Now, 3, 2, 1, here we go!
Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, now we here.
Yes, and yes. All right, Thrive Nation, on today's show, we are breaking down Nir Eyal's newest book, In Praise of Being Indistractable. And as we're recording this show, it's a little bit distracting.
They're hyped.
All right, the people in the office are excited. Hopefully they'll calm it down here soon so that we can do a show about being indistractable. All right.
God, that was so distracting.
Nir, if you listen to this show, we apologize for the level of distraction, and we just apologize for all those distractions. But on
That was
today's
very
show,
distracting.
To break down the book, I wanted to bring in a few people who know what they're talking about this subject. And so I brought in Steve Currington. And Steve, you are one of the partners with Total Lending Concepts.
Yep.
And you have worked with us for about 5.5 years.
Yep.
And since that time, Total Lending Concepts has grown from essentially a startup to now a company that did $251 million of mortgages last year.
Yep.
And then we have Darlin Tucker, the lead graphic designer on the team here.
Yes, sir.
D, what's going on, dude?
What's happening, man?
I'm excited to have you on the show.
Good to be here.
And Steve, I'm excited to have you on the show. And so I want to, this book, I love this book. I couldn't be more excited about a book because this book, Indistractable, How to Control Your Attention and Choose Your Life. Steve, is what I'm all about. Can you share with our listeners out there, and maybe even Nir if he's listening, about what I used to do in our client meetings when you would get on your smartphone during the meeting?
Oh, yeah. You would just leave.
So we'd be having a one-on-one coaching meeting.
And I would get a phone call or look at my phone or be responding to a text, and I would look up and Clay would be gone.
And I would just leave.
Wow. He would just walk out.
And can you explain how that helped you, though?
Yeah, because I was like kind of paying for this meeting, and it's not cheap, so maybe I could put my phone up, and then we just didn't have to have that conversation again. So it was like, I'm paying Clay for me to stand in the box that rocks and text someone.
That's essentially.
And then he
what's
just
happening.
left.
Wow. And I think a lot of people, though, I'm glad that Steve took it the right way, which is why we only take on 160 clients, because a lot of people can't handle that. But, I mean, imagine if a pastor was preaching on stage, and every time somebody got out their smartphone and pretended to use the Bible app and was actually on Instagram or not paying attention. Imagine if the pastor physically left the room every time people mentally left the room.
He wouldn't be in the room. You wouldn't have church.
Right.
And then it'd be like, well, we're not having church today.
Now, D, as a graphic designer, you've worked at a lot of graphic design firms.
Yes, sir.
And how long have you been designing in some capacity with your career? How long have you been a designer or been in the industry?
I consider the year 2000 to be kind of my jump off.
So 20 years.
Yeah.
And for us, you worked on the Tulsa Oilers projects and stuff for NBA coach and player, the Pressey family. But the other firms, you had an email, and all day that email would interrupt you
Yes.
with client updates.
Yes.
Contrast the other work environments where you were constantly receiving push notifications and emails versus working here with me at Make Your Life Epic.
Yeah, it's a lot more here. It's kind of systemized to where back then, you would kind of just be, trying to field everything that comes through every second. Here, it's more like things are more. There's people who are dedicated to handle the clients face to face, and then you have a to-do list that you basically just rock through all day long.
How much more can you get done here versus the other places?
Oh my gosh, I was curious one day and I actually made a spreadsheet of all the sites that I had done on my own.
Yep.
Plus the sites that I had done with the companies that I worked with.
Yep.
And I had done 3 times as many in 1 year as I had done in the previous 15.
Three times as many.
In 1 year as you did in the previous 15 years.
Yes. I was curious one day and I actually made a spreadsheet of all the sites that I had done on my own.
Yep.
Plus the sites that I had done with the companies that I worked with.
Yep.
And I had done 3 times as many in 1 year as I had done in the previous 15. And I had done 3 times as many in 1 year as I had done in the previous 15.
Three times as many.
In 1 year as you did in the previous 15 years.
Yes.
It's your favorite gunslinger, Brett Favre. Just reminding you, you are a great American. I mean great.
Now, I want to share some stats real quick here because this is beyond just digital distractions. Steve, do you remember before smartphones were prevalent? Do you remember life before smartphones?
Oh, yeah. I had a pager.
And so back in the day,
it was clear.
I mean,
it was awesome.
I mean it though. Back in the day, before we had smartphones and that kind of thing, there were a lot of distractions.
Hello, Peter. What's happening? We have sort of a problem here. Yeah, you apparently didn't put one of the new cover sheets on your TPS reports.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry about that. I forgot.
Yeah. You see, we're putting the cover sheets on all TPS reports now before they go out. Did you see the memo about this?
Yeah. Yeah, I have the memo right here. I just forgot. But it's not shipping out till tomorrow, so there's no problem.
Yeah. If you could just go ahead and make sure you do that from now on, that would be great. And I'll go ahead and make sure you get another copy of that memo. Okay?
Yeah, no, I have the memo. I've got it. It's right.
I mean, back in the day, do you remember the workplace before then? Before we had smartphones,
Yeah.
What kind of stuff would employees allow to distract them at that time?
I mean, I think the pagers started getting hot. I don't even.
Coffee is what I remember.
I was probably like
taking breaks.
I was probably like 17 when I got my first pager. So I don't even know. Like, I it's been so long. I don't know that I remember.
I just
what it
remember
was
working
like.
in a call center where the idea of a call center, my understanding is a call center, and I run a call center and own a call center, but the purpose of a call center is to make calls in a center.
Yeah, like you're in one place and you're making a lot of calls.
But yet I found that even when we didn't have smartphones or email, the guy I sat next to, he used to constantly get up and go to the bathroom.
Oh, yeah.
And so one day I'm in the bathroom and I noticed that he's there at the stall. I noticed his shoes. And you don't talk to another man. If you're using the urinal and another man's in the stall, it's code. You just don't get into the conversation.
What? Unless you say, "Hey, man, nice watch."
You don't do it. Right. You don't do it, right? Yeah. And so I wasn't going to say anything. And then he's like, "Hey, man, how you doing?" Just talking, whatever. And I'm like, "Dude, you're in here for like hours a day. What do you do?" He goes, "Oh, I read books." So he would bring books, magazines. Now, the thing that was crazy is I never looked at those Sports Illustrateds the same way again.
Right. Because you're like, this has been in the stall with this guy for hours.
So I just want to share this because this is a big problem. It's beyond just digital. Employees are wasting 41% of their workday, according to an article published in the New York Times by Ken Blanchard. Now, here's another example of wasting time, of being distracted. And I know this might seem like, dude, this doesn't relate. Oh, it does. Now, I would say, again, anything that doesn't take you closer to your goal is a distraction. Anything that takes you closer to your goals or takes you further away from your goals is a distraction. So anything that takes you closer to your goals is traction. Anything that takes you further away is a distraction. Another example of distractions in the workplace. Right now, there's a Newsweek article that came out called iCrazy, and it found that 25% of employees spend their day looking at adult content.
Oh wow!
What do you mean by that?
I'm not going to get into it. I'm just going to speak in generalities. Flesh tones. So what we find is that everybody on this planet finds themselves, that people find a way to get distracted. The Gallup poll shows that 53% of employees are not engaged at work. They're not getting traction. They're distracted. So I want to tee up this scenario. Imagine you sit down to write a book, or to edit a blueprint, to write a song, to read a critical legal document, and then an unwanted push notification shows up. Or maybe a colleague will tap you on the shoulder and wants to chat. Or maybe someone says, do you got a minute? Steve,
I hate
can you relate
that.
to that? Do you got a minute?
Yeah.
We used to have a got a minute sign up sheet that I'd put on my door, and if you had to do got a minutes between 2:30 and 3:30 every day. It's funny because when people know that you're not available until 2:30 or 3:30 and they have some stupid question, they'll figure it out before they'll wait till 2:30. You know what I mean?
So you're right. And so what I want to do is I want to share that this book is a great book for anybody out there who finds themselves being plagued by these interruptions, these got-a-minute meetings, people tapping you on the shoulder, wanting to pick your brain, push notifications on your phone, computer interruptions, email interruptions, just ongoing distractions. Dee, from what you can tell, having worked on the design team, how long have you and I worked together in some capacity now?
I think it's actually been around 7 years.
Okay.
7 or 8 years.
So during those 7 years, can you maybe explain to the listeners out there what you perceive that I'm doing during the day and what I'm not doing?
Oh, what you're not doing is standing around talking to people. You're not sitting down at your desk. You're not. You're walking around getting stuff done. You're coming out getting information. Is really the only time I ever really see you during the day is when you're coming out asking somebody to, for something or that relates to a meeting that you're in.
And I've never sat down with Nir and said, hey, Nir, you should put these tips in the book.
No.
But I hear so many people say to me, man, Clay, you're a super efficient guy. Wow, how do you get all that done? I was just talking the other day with somebody, and they said, my understanding is that Shaw Holmes, who you guys have worked with now for, Steve, you actually introduced me to Shaw Holmes,
Yep.
one of my coaching clients. They said that this client said to me, I heard that Shaw Holmes has grown from $37 million to $81 million in sales annually, and that they now do actually less busy work than they used to do before. And I said, what? And they said, well, I think it was their cousin or their friend. Somebody they knew had applied for a job at Shaw, now works at Shaw.
Yeah.
And was commenting that people who've been at Shaw Holmes for years are commenting, we're getting more done, but there's less busy work.
Yeah.
And this book, Indistractable, How to Control Your Attention and Choose Your Life, breaks down the kind of moves that you can use to become more indistractable. So I'm going to break down the steps that I got out of the book here, Steve. And I'd like for you and Dee to break down what they mean to you guys, okay?
Okay.
So step number one I got out of the book. And again, this right here, this book review is not in place of getting the book. Everybody out there, if you're not a knucklehead, get the book. Now, if you're a knucklehead, don't buy the book. But Steve, if you're not a knucklehead, just go on a one-day fast.
Of not being a knucklehead?
Yeah. You just
like
say for
I'm
one day,
fasting from knuckleheadism.
I'm not going to be a knucklehead, and I'm not going to eat for one day. Don't go to Jimmy John's. Don't go to Domino's. Don't go to Taco Bell. Don't buy random crap you don't need at the convenience store. So here we go. Big idea number one. In this book, Nir Eyal teaches how to master and gain control of the internal triggers by learning how to deal with the inevitable discomfort that life is going to throw at us. He teaches like, hey, when you make cold calls, a rejection is going to happen.
Yep.
When you sit down to do graphic design, you're going to have some frustration. You'll have a mental block. Steve, when you try to do a sales call or help somebody through the mortgage process, you just have to embrace there is going to be discomfort.
Yep.
Why is that important, Steve, for you to know that when you call people to help sell the mortgages, that some people are going to say yes and some are going to say no, or some are going to say no?
Well, because I think in a lot of sales jobs and positions that people are in, they get sold on the rainbows and butterflies of how wonderful it is and how much money you can make, and they don't get sold on the lows, and you have to be prepared for the highs and the lows. And I think what I've learned is just the more consistent you can be about doing whatever it is that you do, that when you do it, you make money. You can control those highs and lows so that you can control your mood. And you just have to be prepared for, I've got this philosophy that some will, some won't. So what next? Because some people are going to buy, some people are going to like me, some people won't. So what next? And move on to the next one. And I think a lot of people, their thinking's warped as they think, oh, I have something to sell. Everybody's going to want it. And they don't.
So what happens is once you gain the perspective that, hey, things are going to distract you. They're going to be uncomfortable. Once you just embrace that's part of the game, you'll stop. Because I see a lot of graphic designers, they sit down to do a design, and they don't work here, by the way, but the ones who tried to work here, they'll sit down to do a design, and then the first time that they don't like the first iteration of something, they want to get some coffee. And they want to go out to grab some lunch. And then, D, when you sit down to do a design, why is it important for you to embrace that there are a certain number of iterations you have to go through before you'll find a look or a style that you like?
Good. That's just really just part of the game. I mean, if I'm not emotionally attached really to what I'm doing, I mean, it's really just more like a job. And if you're too emotionally attached to it, you're going to get frustrated more than you should. And you're not going to be able to put your heart and soul into what you're doing when you don't like the changes that are being asked for you to make.
Have you ever sat next to a designer at a different job where the designer did not like the feedback provided by the client, and then rather than fixing it, they just spent their day complaining about the art?
It? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So
that's so.
So read this book, Indistractable. If you're out there getting to a place where every time something inevitably discomfortable happens, you freak out, this is a good book for you. Now, move number 2 I got out of the book was block out time to gain traction. You want to create a schedule that puts your values on paper and turns your goals into pre-scheduled action. Nir hammers home the importance of actually scheduling time to develop the relationships that matter. So, Steve, I'm going to pull up my calendar tonight. I'm going to pull up my calendar. Here we go. And this is my calendar for Wednesday. So let's go with today's Wednesday the 22nd. What are we doing next, Steve, at 11 o'clock?
I meet with you from 11 to 12 for my weekly meeting with Total Lending Concepts.
About how to grow the mortgage company.
Yeah.
And what are we doing during that meeting?
Talking about growing the mortgage company.
Going over the action items that need to be done and then following up. Did it get done? If it didn't get done, why didn't it get done? It's all about action, implementing a best practice system. Now, at 12, what are we doing here, Steve?
At 12, you're meeting with Aaron Antis with Shaw Homes to build the building business.
And what am I doing at Friday night at 5 o'clock?
Clay Family Movie Night. Vanessa and Clay discuss travel schedule.
Saturday at 6 p.m.
Clay goes on date with Vanessa.
That's my wife. I've been married almost 20 years. You just put it in the schedule.
You take her on dates, bro.
What? You just got to put it in the schedule. You got to schedule out time for your if you want to get in shape, put it in the schedule. If you want to go on a date, put it on the schedule. If you want to knock out your graphic design, put it in the schedule. But D, if you do not put crap in your schedule, if you do not have one to-do list, and you don't have that one to-do list and that one calendar, what could happen as a graphic designer?
Overload. I mean,
there it is.
Double scheduling, double promising 2 people the same thing at the same time.
Yes.
Different things at the same time. And just pissing people off. Sorry.
I'm serious. You see a lot of designers that can't get stuff done. You see a lot of mortgage people. Steve, what do mortgage people typically spend their time doing, and real estate agents typically spend their time doing during the day as opposed to actually selling houses or closing mortgage deals?
They might be the ones that are looking at those adult content you were talking about. I don't know. I think that
I find the ones who are on Instagram the most make the least money.
Yeah, it's all about the newest shiny tool that can help attract buyers and not about doing the basic things that they know will, because they're not fun, like picking up the phone and calling people. Another big thing in the mortgage business is most mortgage loan officers work from like 10 to 2 every day.
Yep.
Maybe 3 days a week.
Yep.
And then they go to lunch at like 11:30, and they usually take a 1.5 to 2 hour lunch. So they really work from like 10 to 11:30, and then from like 1 to 2.
So let's talk about this for a second. Somebody out there, I want to make this actionable for you. Step one, ask yourself, what part of your day is going to be uncomfortable? I mean, you just know it's going to happen. And then put it in the schedule.
Yeah.
Don't try to avoid it all day. Step two, block out time for what needs to get done. Block it out. Now, step three, you have got to turn off all external interruptions. You got to turn off all external triggers, all push notifications. You got to block out that email. You got to get off those group chats. You got to get off those social media updates. During the day, how often do you see me up on Facebook reacting to negative complaints, feedback from people? How often do you see me lamenting about YouTube comments? How often do you see that happening?
Close to, zero, never. I mean, so one of those.
It's interesting.
Take your pick, zero, never.
But if you keep those push notifications on, if you have a program called Slack in your office where you get these constant updates, D, what tends to happen?
You're distracted by what's being said, but then you're never focused on one thing. You're
Right.
never getting anything done.
Now, step four here. This is big, and I think, Steve, you might relate to this one. Step four. You want to make a pact or a commitment with somebody to solidify the accountability of your plan. So as an example, this author, it's so cool. He, Nir Eyal, is friends with the best-selling author of the book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F. And so he decided that what he's going to do is he is going to make a pact. So he and Mark Mattson sat down in the same room together and said, for the next 2 hours or 4 hours, I'm going to write and you're going to write. Go. And then they kept doing that. And then they ratcheted it up, and he said, I'll pay you, Nir said, I'll pay you $10,000, Mark Mattson, if I don't finish my book on time. Steve, why is that a powerful motivator whenever you take a bet like that?
Because there's pain associated with it. And that's exactly why I have a coach. And that's exactly why everybody who's figured out that they need a coach, regardless of their income level or their status or their position in a company, is found that even the most motivated people need someone, not always, but you need somebody on certain things to just be there to hold you accountable.
Can I list off the people that needed a coach? The people out there that just, Steve, they just struggled so much. These people were on the struggle bus and they needed a business coach.
Yeah, there's a few of them I can think of.
So again, and now the coach they went to, the people who really struggled the most, the coach they went to was a guy by the name of Bill Campbell. Check out the website $1 Trillion Coach real quick to see a list of these misfits who really struggled to get stuff done. So they needed a coach. Eric Schmidt, the CEO of Google, hired Bill Campbell.
Whoa.
I didn't expect to see someone that successful on the list.
Why does he need a coach?
Well, then Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs was coached by Bill Campbell.
Come on.
And I saw that Sheryl Sandberg, the lady in charge of Facebook's on that list.
Get out of here.
No, I did. I saw, and I looked and I saw Jeff Bezos with that. And now Amazon is a struggle bus company.
It's terrible.
Working.
If you own any stock in Amazon, you're probably happy.
Get out now, folks. Get out now. It's still, but think about this. The world's most successful people have all had a coach. You see Eric Schmidt during an interview in Fortune magazine was asked, what's the number one tip you'd give any business person? He says, hire a coach. And you see the most proud people out there who don't do well at almost anything. They say, I don't need a coach. I would encourage you
to do this on my own.
So I want you to do today's homework for everybody out there. Pick up a copy of the book Indistractable, How to Gain Control. The book Indistractable, How to Control Your Attention and Choose Your Life by Nir Eyal. Again, pick up a copy of the book Indistractable, How to Control Your Attention and Choose Your Life by Nir Eyal. Pick up the book. That's step one. Step two, read the book. What? Yeah, turn off your push notifications and read the book. What are all the steps? Okay, step one, buy the book. Step two, turn off your push notifications, turn off all the conversations, and read the book. Or get the audio book, but listen to it, consume it. Then, step number three, implement the stuff in the book. In this podcast, by no shape or way or form, substitutes you buying the book. You got to buy the book, but when you buy the book, there are 4 steps at least that I would encourage you to take control of. Step one, make a list of all of the things that you're going to have to do during your day that are uncomfortable. Step 2, block out time to do those things and the things that you want to do. Block it out. I don't want to work out. Okay, block it out. Block out time for it. I don't want to talk to my wife about that. Block out time for it. Yeah. I don't want put whatever gets scheduled gets done. To quote Lee Cockrell, the former executive vice president of Walt Disney World Resorts, whatever gets scheduled gets done. That guy managed 40,000 people, 1 million customers a week. He says whatever gets scheduled gets done. Step number 3, turn off all the push notifications. Put the phone down. Pastors, put the phone down. Pastors.
Hey, I went to dinner with Aaron Antis last night.
I'm talking to a lot of pastors out there. We have so many pastors who've emailed us. You got 1,000 members in your church. Turn off the push notifications. You do not need to be interrupted. You're praying for someone. You do not need to be interrupted while you're praying for somebody. Continue, Steve.
I got Aaron these cool earbuds. You know, I do the color. They're like Michigan blue on the earbuds, and then the case is yellow. So we gave them to him at dinner, and I was like, dude, hook them up to your phone. And he goes, I left the phone in the car. I'm like, good for you. That's what I should have done.
Nice.
But I was like, good, because this is a guy that's super busy. He's got 24 salespeople that are calling him at all hours of the day and night about trying to sell a home. But he knows when I'm at dinner with my wife and with a friend and business associate, I left the phone in the car. I'm like, good job, man.
T.D. Jakes, the best-selling author and pastor of the Potter's House Church, he reports that people are now coming down for altar calls to accept Jesus into their hearts while they're Facebook living.
Oh, my God.
It's an amazing time we're living in today. When the word of God is going forth, we got people today who are so busy Facebook Live and they're not listening. I see people in an altar call coming to Jesus, Facebook Live. How can your soul be crushed by the word, tears running down your face, life changed forever, and you a producer? There is a time and a place for everything under heaven. You cannot allow these machines to become idols in your life. Cut your phone off, open your heart, allow the Spirit of God.
Step number 4 is make a commitment with somebody in your office that you're not going to be a jackass, that you are going to show up to the workout, that you are going to knock your stuff out. Because when you have accountability, I found that when you are held accountable, big problems don't seem insurmountable anymore. Yeah. Yeah. When you're doing it alone, and it's you versus the world. True. Very, very few
Just
people.
Don't pick a person that you have to motivate.
Don't pick a weasel.
Like you should pick somebody that is maybe someone you look up to, or somebody maybe like a mentor, or somebody that actually will hold you accountable, not someone who you're trying to like convince. Or remind, hey man, I need to remind you to hold me accountable. You don't need that. You need somebody that will take the time to actually hold you accountable like you've asked, not a weak, you know what. Yeah.
Nir Eyal, thank you so much for writing the book. The book is awesome. If you're out there today, I'm telling you, he's been on the Thrive Time show one time, and a great guest. His book, Hooked, was a great book. And if you're out there today looking for a great book to help you to become super proactive and productive in 2020, that is the one book you got to get. Indistractable, How to Control Your Attention and Choose Your Life by Nir Eyal. And now, without any further ado, we'd like to end each and every show with a completely indistractable boom. So here we go. 3, 2, 1, boom! Stop what you're doing and think about this for a second. What would happen if your company was suddenly able to generate exponentially more quality sales leads? That would be incredible. What would happen if your company came up at the top or near the top of the Google search engine results? Well, I would just feel overwhelmed with all that business. How many thousands of dollars in lost sales or millions of dollars in lost sales are you missing out on simply because your potential customers can't find you when they go online to search for the products and services that you offer? I refuse to think that thought because I don't want any more business. Unless you are a dirty communist that hates money, my new book, Search Engine Domination, will help you grow your business. In my new book, Search Engine Domination, we will teach you the specific steps that you need to take to dominate the search engine results. What do you mean by dominate? You see, in my new book, Search Engine Domination, we will teach you the specific steps that you need to take to dominate search engine results. Download your free ebook copy today at thebestseobook.com. I repeat, that's thebestseobook.com.
My name is Amy Baltimore, and I am a CPA in Covington, Tennessee. I've been working with the Thrive team now for about a year. One of the first things that they did was to update my website and my search engine optimization. I prior had a website, but I was not being found on Google, and all of my new business was coming through referrals from friends, family, etc. And right away, I started to see results. People were calling and coming in saying that they found me on Google. They just Googled CPA near me, and there I was at the top of the page. And so it's been a great help to my business.
Again, you can download your free ebook copy today at thebestseobook.com.
Hey, this is Dustin Huff. I'm with Keystone Harbor Marina. We joined Thrive back in January and have been working with these guys for about 7 months. During that time period, we have moved up our Google rank through reviews and SEO processes that we've compiled through these guys. Our leads have gone from about 4 a week to now 165 a week. So the process works. I will tell you from experience, once you begin, you have to stay with it. As long as you continually do this week in and week out, month in and month out, you'll continually grow.
The system works, but nothing works unless you do. You've got to take some action. Download the ebook for free today at thebestseobook.com.
Hello, my name is Daniel with Daniel's Heating and Air here in Amarillo, Texas. The way Google has affected my business, we have got a lot of calls from Google. Right now it's July, and we've had the best month ever. And it took us about 8 to 10 months to get on top of Google, and I'm glad we did.
Remember, nothing works unless you do. You have to go to thebestseobook.com today. Download the ebook for free. Just download that ebook for free, and you'll be off to the races.
Hi, my name is Christina Nemus. I'm the owner and operator of Angel's Touch Auto Body and Detailing in Bourne, Massachusetts. We have been working with Thrive and their coaching for, say, 8 to 9 months, and it took us about 6 months, 5 to 6 months to get on the top of Google, and with their help with the website and marketing, and the SEO and retargeting ads with Google, and it has been phenomenal. We just have light and day business coming in, phone calls coming in, walk-ins, referrals. It's just through the roof, and we couldn't be happier. At the moment, we are up 50% this year from the previous year, and not only is that part of our own hard work and diligence, but also with the help of Thrive and what they've done for us and getting us on the top of Google and, you know, all their knowledge and coaching. And yeah, so super grateful, super pumped to see what the future holds for all of us. Thank you.
This is your year to thrive. Success you will find. Today is your day, and now is your time.
Lazy hands make for poverty, but diligent hands bring wealth. Proverbs 10:4. I'm here to tell you, you can do it if you can just motivate yourself. 12 the masses had to cut off a few, so on the daily you and I could rendezvous. A misshapen tree that I had to prune. I had to make cuts to be here daily at noon. So like a tidal wave, a knowledge monsoon, I could rain on the parades of those who doubt in you. Are you the next Rockefeller or the next guru, or the next Dr. King who's changing the rules? Walls are in your way, will you run right through? Like a running back, force the one, it's up to you. I remember my days back in the dorm room, tuned to the gloom like the temple of doom, overwhelmed with the doubts that try to consume my hope for the future that I could pursue. But from the mountaintop now I can conclude that you have what it takes if you want the view to.
This is your year to thrive. Success you will find. Today is your day, and now is your time. It's your year to thrive. Success you will find. Today is your day.
above the ground. Your road might have been rough, but what you got now is now. We're here to pick you up and to even show you how, but you gotta be resourceful with that old pow. Started from the bottom, but I worked my way up, cause by 4 a.m. I've always been prayed up. Rise and grind as your time, don't dare let up. You gotta get it, don't quit it till your seeds grow up.
This is your year to thrive.
Come on.
Success you will find.
Yes.
Today is your day.
Somebody say.
And now is your time.
It's your time.
It's your year to thrive.
Come on.
Success you will find. Today is your day. And now is your time.
It's your time. We all have a wish and we all want to win, but we cannot begin without self-discipline. If you fall on your face, get yourself up again. Attach yourself to goals, not fail with the friends. When the storms get rough and they scatter and leave, you only be there with yourself and what you believe. We believe in you, but not as much as God does. If you're going through hell, He's got nothing but love. Apply what you learn, increase what you earn, and in due time you have money to burn.
Apply what you've learned, increase what you've earned, and in due time you got money to burn.
Sing it.
Apply what you've learned, increase what you've earned, in due time you got money to burn.
Sing it.
Apply what you've learned,
Sing it.
increase what you've earned.
Yes.
In due time you got money to
With
to
this
burn.
miracle, I look to shout down the doubters. Kill the weeds that be killing your dream flowers. Empower you to devour all the obstacles that make your sweet dreams sour. As for me, I used to stutter, but now I'm on the microphone smooth like butter. If I can do it, I know you can too, but you must stick to it like postage do. And while Merton's on the chorus, singing what he sings, I encourage you to dream big dreams.
Today is your day.
Today's your day.
And now is your time.
It's your time.
This is your year to thrive.
Sing it.
Success you will find. Today is your day.
It's your day.
And now is your time.
It's your time.
Today is your day.
Come on.
And now is your time.
Sing it, Martin.
Today is your day. Now is your time.
I realize I can't sing like that, but I can talk and play the woodblock. Okay. If you guys need me, I'll just be over here.